Hey guys, it's me David and welcome back to another LEGO Star Wars set review. And today I am feeling the nostalgia with this one. It's the V-19 Torrent set number 75432. It's going to have 567 pieces. It's going to go on sale August 1st of 2025 with all the other summer sets, and it's going to retail for $65. Not exactly the best price for this set. It's expensive, of course, like pretty much all the other LEGO Star Wars sets from this wave. But it's not as bad as some of the others. Looking at you, Republic Juggernaut and MTT and 327th Battle Packs especially. This one actually seems a little bit more appropriate for the retail price. It's more in line with like the ARC 170 that we got earlier this year. Now, the minifigures in this set, oh my goodness. We're getting a brand new Asajj Ventress. We're getting an Obi-Wan Kenobi from the earlier seasons of the Clone Wars with the original armor with arm printing. That's a sweet looking minifigure. And we're finally getting a true to form P1 clone pilot. Like, these are perfect looking minifigures and I can't wait to see them in hand. Now, as for the set itself, the last time we got the V-19 Torrent was all the way back in 2008 with that original Clone Wars wave. And it's been a long time since then, and I gotta say, this is a very different looking V-19. It's a little bit thicker, a little bit smaller. It's been downscaled quite significantly from the previous iteration. Functions have been omitted, yet functions have been improved. I like the overall look here. It does beg the question what it looks like when it's landed. It doesn't look that bad to me personally. I know others have been complaining about this, but I kind of like it. You know, my initial impression when I saw this was like, this is questionable. Is it too small? Is it like something's off here maybe? But the more I look at it, the more it's growing on me, and I think that's going to be the case when I build this set. So minifigures look promising. The piece count isn't terrible for the price, and overall this might be one of the few sets that comes out on August 1st that actually seems worthy of the retail price, but we'll have to see that here in a few minutes. So I do want to thank LEGO for sending this set over for review. Without further ado, let's go into the in-depth of the V-19 Torrent. Yet again, more stickers in a set, and of course that's frustrating to see, and I will actually point out just why I hate stickers so much later on in the review, but here it is guys, the V-19 Torrent Starfighter, and my first impressions of this are very positive. I'm very impressed with this set. It's way better in person, but let's talk about the minifigures first, starting with this brand new Obi-Wan Kenobi from the original first couple seasons of Star Wars The Clone Wars, and he looks absolutely fantastic. Look at that arm printing with the Jedi symbol on there. It looks so good. Obi-Wan looks fantastic. The only thing that could make him a little bit better is maybe dual molded legs. And then of course we have Asajj Ventress sporting her curved lightsaber hilts. We haven't seen those in some time, and they're back here and they look fantastic. But the minifigure is a straight 10 out of 10. I love the purple color. Her design is pretty much perfection. Again, no complaints here. Then finally we have a Phase 1 clone pilot with a specialty made helmet. Previously LEGO would just use the P1 helmet and print the pilot design on that, but they actually went the extra mile and made a proper molded helmet for this figure, and it looks fantastic. It took so long to get this, and now we can finally give the Ultimate Collector Series Republic Gunship the minifigure we all deserved 4 years later after this set was released. This one was a long time coming, and finally having this figure is very satisfying. Now onto the V-19 Torrent Starfighter. How is it in person? And I gotta admit, I personally like this, like way more than I was expecting. It looked a little silly to me on the box. It was a little maybe too much or something was off. I don't know what it was, but in person it feels completely different. What doesn't feel different is the sticker usage and how frustrating it was to get those circle like engine compartment pieces on the front just absolutely perfect. And I was able to do it, but I know fans will be frustrated putting those on. But as for the look of the V-19, it doesn't look amazing when it's landed, but it doesn't look that bad in my opinion. At least from certain angles, it depends on the really viewpoint you're looking at it. Now in terms of converting it to its flight mode, the T mode, if we'll call it that, it is actually quite satisfying. It's not the same mechanism that we had in 2008, so it's not geared and all three wings drop at the same time, but in a way it is still just as satisfying, and I'll explain that here in just a minute. Swooshability here, excellent. This thing's a blast to swoosh around. It feels really good in the hand, better than the ARC 170. Like that wing and how it feels is perfect. Like it's just the right amount of thickness. It doesn't feel like it's going to fall apart in your hand, and you can actually make a game out of how fast you can drop these wings. I actually really enjoyed doing that. Not to brag or anything, but I did convert the wings in 3 seconds. So if you can beat that, let me know down in the comments below. I'd be curious to see that.
As for how these middle wings go down, they're actually just on ball joints fairly simply. And then what about the cockpit here? Is there any details? Surprisingly, yes, there's actually a really nice sticker. You know, I don't normally say that about stickers, but I like the attention to detail here. This is exactly what we see in the Clone Wars show, and there's plenty of room for the clone pilot. So there's those ball joints I was talking about. It's very simple to pull the wings on and off if you wanted to do that and make it look like it's crashed, for example. But as for the middle wing, this is where things get a little interesting. They're actually utilizing just bars and clips here, and so the same mechanism is on either side of the wing, so it just clips into two different sections. And when you do this, it's extremely satisfying because you get that nice click sound as you pop it back and forth, so you know you locked it in, which is very fun for its playability. And then most obviously, the click will let you know that it is ready for swooshing time, which that's fine with me. Now, as for standing the V-19 up in its flight mode, you can do it, but it has to be like leaning against its side. But this really shows how durable the set is. The fact that it can do this because the body's quite heavy. It's very dense, a lot of pieces in this set. And I also found that just by simply utilizing some clear pieces, these rods, for example, putting them on either side of the wing, actually balances this set out. It's not a foolproof. I wouldn't want to put this on my shelf like this, but it worked for the review and helps show you guys what it looks like just standing up solo on the table. And really, LEGO should have included some type of stand, whether it's utilizing trans clear pieces or black pieces, just something to stand this bad boy up would have been highly appreciated, but now we're going to have to rely on third-party products or just building your own stand like I did here. I gotta say, from all angles, this V-19 looks quite good. I really can't complain about the overall design of this. I think it's very accurate. I love that little touch of olive green both on the back here as well as right in the front of the cockpit. Just those little bits of color really make this thing pop in person, and from every angle, I love it. And in terms of functions for this set, well, there isn't a ton. Of course, there's stud launchers off to the side as well as, of course, the flight conversion mode. Now, let's go ahead and bring in some other sets to give you guys an idea of scale. Now, I think the most obvious one to compare against is the ARC 170, because anyone who picked up the ARC 170 this year is probably interested in the V-19, and I have to say they look fantastic next to each other. Dare I say it, the V-19 is better designed. Like, I have no issue with the set like I did with the ARC 170. It looks good in pretty much every way. The turrets, specifically the missile turrets on the side of the wings, feel a little bit more bulked up than the ARC 170 does, and I think they scale very well next to each other. Even with the color-swapped gunship off to the side, like, all of this blends together. Yes, the V-19 has been downscaled, but at least it fits in with the lineup, unlike the Republic Juggernaut. Now, if you haven't picked up the ARC 170, and maybe you're deciding between these two sets because they are similarly priced, I don't know. I think I might go with the V-19 over the ARC 170. Is that a hot take? Let me know down in the comments below. As for the 2008 version of the V-19 against this 2025 version, 17 years of difference here. Obviously, the new version has been downscaled, but at the same time, it has 100 more pieces than this older version, and it feels it in the build. Like, it's a very substantial brick-built V-19. There's more thickness to the wings from its predecessor, but at the same time, it's not nearly as tall. I also want to just show, again, why I hate stickers, and this is a prime example. The V-19 from 17 years ago, the same Republic symbol started crackling on me and doesn't look good at all, so that's probably going to happen to this sticker. Same on the very front of the V-19 from 2008. Like, this is why we want printed pieces, LEGO. And you can see here the wingspan is very different between the two, but I will say the new version feels a lot more substantial in the hand. Probably those extra pieces add more weight and feels better in that regard, but it doesn't feel as fragile as the 2008 version is. Yes, I always, of course, want bigger sets, but I'm not upset with this design. Like, it doesn't feel substantially downscaled from this predecessor. I think you could make the argument that the 2025 version looks a little bit more like a toy, and maybe the 2008 version looks a little more sleek and accurate to the Clone Wars show, but either one looks like a V-19 Torrent. I don't think that aspect has been taken away with this newest version, and I like both, but if I'm going to actually choose, it's going to be the new version, especially with the minifigures. Now, clearly, my 2008 version got very upset by that comment and just decided to take a nosedive on the floor. Just kidding. It just fell from being stood up that way. Overall, though, I'm very happy with this set. The minifigures are great, and I think the set is really solid.
So does the V-19 look funky when it's landed? Absolutely. But when this thing's in flight mode, oh my goodness, is this a blast. The swooshability, the excellent build quality, the way it feels in the hand, this is what I'm talking about for a Clone Wars Starship or Starfighter set. Like this is excellent quality, and I really appreciate whoever the designer was building this one because I love the end result. It looks really good. It's utilizing some brand new pieces, specifically this Jango Fett Starfighter slope piece. I love that. The only thing I don't really love about this set is, of course, the sticker usage. The minifigures, excellent. Asajj Ventress looks fantastic. Obi-Wan is just a straight 11 out of 10. And then finally, a real clone pilot, one with an actual molded helmet, not just utilizing the Phase 1 helmet that we saw back in the Clone Wars era of sets. Like LEGO actually went the extra mile. At least that's how it feels with this set. I genuinely really like this one. This, alongside the MTT, are the highlight sets of the wave. Thankfully, the V-19 isn't nearly as overpriced as the MTT. Now, $65 for this set still is too pricey. I think like $50 would be like the perfect price for this set, but obviously it's going to take a few months before we see that price drop, and I'm sure it will happen at some point. And so the final point is, should you pick up the V-19 come August 1st? Should this be a day one purchase? So what I'll say here is I will hesitantly recommend this as a day one purchase at full retail price. I think this is more reasonable given the fact you're getting 3 exclusive minifigures out of the set, given the excellent build quality. I cannot wait for iDisplay to make a stand for this set because that's absolutely needed. I don't like this set in its landed mode. Is what it is. It's not a huge deal. When you're in flight mode, it looks so much better. So if you're looking for a relatively affordable LEGO Star Wars set out of this entire summer wave that feels somewhat appropriate to its price, this is the one. I think a lot of you probably already assumed that, and well, it's just honestly true. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. You're going to be picking up this V-19. Of course, I want to thank LEGO for sending this set over for review. I'll have links down in the description. They're affiliated and helped out the channel if you want to come pick this set up come August 1st. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys have a great, wonderful day, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.